Hey guys, Tisha here, and we are back for another Sister Wives Season 9 review. Let me begin by saying this was a boring episode to me. Y'all, I'm gonna be real, it was boring. It was all about Christine, and I hate these all about this person episodes because they don't teach us anything new, really. They just show us a bunch of clips where we get their current reaction, but there were some things that we can talk about. So I will be skipping some things, but if you saw something in the episode that you would like to talk about, feel free to put it down below in the comment section, and we could definitely talk about it down below. So Cody opens up the episode letting us know that this is going to be all about Christine. I may be overanalyzing it a little bit, but in my opinion, his opening came off as kind of sarcastic because he was like, yes, it's going to be all about Christine. And you know, he always feels like Christine makes it all about her anyways. So the way that he said it, I was just like, okay, Cody. We're reminded that when Christine and Cody were first introduced to us, that they had at this point been married for 16 years and been pregnant with Truly. Christine is then currently seen saying that really that their goal was to really show us that they were normal and they were a lot like other families. She said they wanted to show something other than what we normally think of when we hear of polygamists, and that they didn't want to just show like the FLDS aspect of it. They wanted to show that unlike some members of the FLDS, that they chose this. They don't have the child brides. They don't have women being forced to do things that they don't want to do. And my question to you all is, do you guys think that they accomplished their goal? Do you think that they accomplished the goal of showing us that they're normal? My answer is I do feel like they showed us that they're normal. I feel like because they're so dysfunctional, they've shown us just how normal they are. But I think they accomplished their goal. Let me know what you all think. Now, Mary said that she met Christine a year into being married to Cody, and she knew that Christine had a big crush on Cody. I don't know what Christine saw in Cody that she was crushing on him so hard, but apparently there was something that she liked. I feel like a lot of women gravitated towards Cody at various points when he was within that polygamy. And as a result, did I say it within that polygamy or did I say within that community? Because I want to say it within that community. I don't know what I said. It's early in the morning, y'all. Sorry. I got a wedding to go to, so I want to make sure that I do this. But what was I saying? Oh, I feel like he had his pickings within the polygamous community. And as a result, he kind of like stayed there. I don't think that people in the world, based on what some of his high school friends said in that episode, naturally gravitated towards Cody. I think that Cody annoyed a lot of people. Mary said that to her, it was obvious that at some point Christine would be in the family. Cody said that Christine made her desires known and she was very flirtatious and things of that nature. It would not, on the other hand, have been appropriate for him to do that. And I was like, okay, Cody has this way of always telling us about how Christine was for him. And in certain points, we hear him say that basically like they panted like a dog when he did that whole thing a few seasons ago, and talking about how desperately Christine wanted to be in the family. And I'm saying, okay, so it's not appropriate for you to seek out Christine, but it was appropriate for him to seek out Robin. In the book, Robin said that she made Cody work for her, which would mean he had to seek her out in some ways and make his desires known. He makes a joke about Christine's flirting incessively, his words, almost to the point of embarrassment, also his words. Every time he talks about Christine, there is some sort of dig in there that he masks as if it's a joke, but I really believe that he feels this way about her. We see them talking about their different relationships, and Mary brings up how if he's off with another wife, he often takes it out on her. She didn't say he often takes it out on the other wives. She said he often takes it out on her. And I'm just sitting here like, that's not okay. I know that we even heard in the Darker book how sometimes the relationships with Joe and his wives will cause a ripple effect. And one of the things that they try to work on is if there's a problem between that husband and that wife, that they try not to bring it to each other, but they also kind of call each other out, because we saw we saw chapters where you had the different wives saying like, oh, this sister was being extremely mean to Joe. And I kind of like, talked to her and told her, consider this and consider that and whatever. So I feel like it should not be this situation where because you're having such a bad day with this one wife that you take it out on Mary. And I know it just wasn't Mary. I know he did it to the other wives as well. But either way, it's not okay. That to me is something that would not work for me in a relationship, because I don't have anything to do with that. It's not my fault that you're having an issue with your other wife. Don't take it out on me. And if you do take it out on me, please expect me to take out something on you. They talk about how it's important for each one of those relationships to be good and to have intimacy. Present day, this is being discussed, and Mary looks uncomfortable. In the clip, Christine says people wonder about how they handle knowing their husband is off sleeping with another woman. And she says, well, gosh darn, they better. And I'm sitting here like, wow, her mindset really changed, because now she's extremely jealous. But before Robin really came into the family, it didn't seem like it bothered her as much. They are all cringing while watching Christine say that. And we find out it's because originally that is what TLC used as a teaser for the show. So in the book, they talk about how one of the things that got their church upset was because of the teaser, and it had them worried. And they had asked production if they could please remove it. And at some point they did. They showed a different teaser. But the fact that that little comment made their church feel so uncomfortable that they're not supposed to talk about intimacy and that part of their marriage, I just feel like, what's the big deal? I'm not saying that you have to tell me the ins and out of your marriage. I'm saying at a very basic level, you can say we do this and we don't do that, and that could be it. But we'll talk about it a little bit below. Cody said the church leaders had a fit for them discussing sex, and it got ugly. Mary said that she already knew that it was going to be something that she never wanted to talk about. She did not want to discuss that on television. I believe that it's foolish for them to think that coming out on our TV screens and telling us that they have 4 functional relationships and that each relationship had their own separate relationship would not create questions. The key to me would have been to answer them one time so that people would leave it alone. Because they got so uncomfortable about it, it made you want to know more. At least it made me want to know more, because why are y'all so uncomfortable? When we read the book, I keep talking about it, but when we read the book, Love Times 3, Joe immediately got to the point of it. He immediately said, look, yes, we do this. I have 3 wives. We alternate nights. Each one of those wives has a different relationship. Each one of those wives does involve intimacy. And then another wife went into further detail and explained that it's not just about the sex for them, that it really is about the intimate moments. And sometimes in those intimate moments, you may have, that relationship, you may have that involvement with one another. And other times your intimacy is in spiritual connection, in mental connection. So what is so hard about that? I had no questions. I had none, because you got to the point, you made me know that it wasn't something that you're uncomfortable about, which also made me feel like Joe had a healthier dynamic with his wives in that regard. I think one of the reasons why they struggle so much with talking about intimacy, the Browns did, wasn't just because it's something that they don't talk about with their faith. I think that it was because it's something that they all knew that at various points they were not having with their husband. They were not having intimacy with their husband. Christine in the previous episode even said that Cody hadn't been intimate with her. Now, we assumed at that time that it was like, the connection, but knowing now he really wasn't. That was a form of punishment for him. I don't understand why they couldn't talk to us about intimacy and that experience in a modified way, but we had to listen to a whole entire segment about Robin supposedly losing her purity to her ex. And I say supposedly because I don't believe it. It just shows that they pick and choose what they want to talk about, because you would think that you weren't able to talk about that as well, especially on a public forum. Christine talks about wanting to be the third wife, and we see her make a comment about, if you're having problems with two wives, then marry a third. Cody is now currently laughing, saying that it's bad advice. But in the book, Cody admitted to having problems with Janelle and Mary getting along, and that he expected for Christine coming in, because of how bubbly she was and because of how she got along with both wives, he expected for her to reduce those problems. So was Cody wrong, or was Christine wrong? Because it seems here to me like Cody was the one who was in denial, because Christine was right. Cody said it, that he used those wives to get along with each other. Even though he knew that there were problems with Mary and Robin, he brought in Christine. Why would you bring in another wife if your other two wives are having problems with each other? So in that statement, I'm like, okay, does he realize that he just contradicted himself? Because that's not what he did. He's told us in the book that he brought in Christine to help with that. We're reminded that Christine did not think that they needed another wife, and if they were going to get one, that she needed to be absolutely amazing. Christine told us so many different times that she did not want there to be a fourth wife in so many different ways. And her having to be absolutely amazing is just the great, way to throw Robin on us. Cody says, I love how Christine, when she said that, the wife has to be absolutely amazing, kind of threatened. It's kind of threatening. And he laughs, but I feel like he meant it. I really feel like Cody had a problem with his wives not agreeing or doing what he wanted them to do. And I feel like he took it out on them in various ways. And when it came to Robin, by the time Christine was introduced to Robin, because we've been told that it was a thing between Mary, Cody, and Robin, but I also think now, looking back on it and hearing some of the things that Janelle has said, that Janelle was privy to it too. So with that being said, I feel like Christine, as I said previously, was on the outs, and that Christine knew that she was kind of doomed once Robin came in. Cody says, upon meeting Robin, he already knew that Robin was down to earth and that she would work well in plural marriage. I know that there are a lot of people who are down to earth and nice and sweet and whatever other great, words we want to use. But that doesn't mean just because of that they work well with plural marriage. Robin likes to act like she's the guru, but Robin, this is her first plural relationship. And we've already been told by people like Christine that Robin tends to act like a monogamist when it comes to her relationship. She doesn't really function as a family with some of her demands. So here you are saying that she's just this great person and she just does, certain things, but you didn't even really know her at that point, or did you? Because I think that they were together longer than any of them knew, including Mary. Robin says that Kody took a step back and considered her, in considering her because of her being divorced and her having kids. That I believe. Okay, Birdie, you got it on that. And who wouldn't? I take a step back from men approaching me that have multiple kids. And I have a kid myself. I do. I take a step back in some kind of way. I ended up with a man with multiple kids. I just thought about that. Yeah, I took step back many a times, but apparently I can step back as much as I wanted to. That's not my current situation. Anyways, it would be natural for anyone who is getting involved into a relationship with someone else to possibly pause when they find out that they have been divorced. And let's be clear, Robin's divorce was fairly recent into her meeting Kody. So it's not like, oh, she was divorced for many, many years and then she met Kody. There was a short time span there, okay? Robin says you have to be smart about having someone coming into the family because you don't want to mess up what that family has. And adding her to the family, in my opinion, did exactly that. Robin's arrival disrupted many things. Now, they could sit there all they want to and talk about the move and all of those things, but they were having disruption prior to the move because we saw Christine complaining and begging Kody in a way not to go to Robin because those 5-hour weekend trips that he kept taking was taking time away from their family. So it's not like they weren't already having some problems with the addition of Robin before this move. We see clips of Truely's birth. And as I was watching, I was like, man, Kody really had his food because at that point, Kody seems so engaged, but Kody loves for his women to have babies. And unfortunately, because Truely did not remain the baby, but for like a year, that was the extent to his engagement, if you ask me. Kody says that at this point, he is now done having children with Christine and he wants more. But because Janelle was already done and because of Mary, which he didn't even mention Mary, he didn't mention Janelle either, really, but that it will happen with Robin. And I said to myself, okay, it just reminds me of how he played with Mary's feelings because you're so quick to cut all of it off. And here you are more than willing to have more children with the bird because the other ladies are done. Now, I don't blame the other ladies for being done. It's easy for someone to want more when they are not the ones who are having to carry these babies and sacrifice their bodies for that time period because it is a sacrifice. We act like giving birth is just this thing that happens all the time, but there are a lot of women who don't always have successful births. And I feel like Kody took for granted what his wives had been through because here's the thing, before Christine even had Truely, she was pregnant previously and had a very horrific miscarriage based to what the book describes, to the amount of blood and things of that nature that she lost. And if you've ever experienced a miscarriage, it is very traumatic. So I can only imagine how Christine, who had previously had that awful miscarriage, felt then being pregnant with Truely because I want y'all to put this into context. Being pregnant with Truly and having her husband leave the state, drive 5 hours away while she was significantly pregnant. Things like that need to be put into context. Now, I know that this is something that some of these polygamists do, because even when Joe was courting his last wife, his wife was pregnant. We're told that his wife, on the other hand, encouraged it, and also he wasn't taking 5-hour trips to see her. But this woman had lost her child in a traumatic way at night. Janelle, even in the book, talked about how bad it was. And here Kody is just leaving like it's nothing. Like she's not terrified sometimes about losing that kid. Like she's not worried about going into preterm labor, or these are the types of things that just go through my mind. So they talk about Christine and how because they're playing games like the golf thing, and how Christine likes to cheat at games, and it's this whole segment about cheating at games. And bottom line, both Logan and Janelle say that it's just Christine's way of lightening up and having fun, that she means no harm by it. So they use the story of Christine's grandfather and grandmothers being put in jail for polygamy. They broke up the family as a result because they were arrested at various points. The family was so scared that they separated, even some of the wives going to different states. As a result, she was always taught to be silent about who they were, because if people found out, that they could be split up. Although I believe everything about what happened with them and the way that they left, I do feel like Utah for the Browns was unnecessarily dramatic. I do believe that Christine, at her heart, at her core, felt like she was experiencing legitimate concerns for her family, because she was raised to believe all of her life that monogamous people were the enemy. She said it herself. I'm sure her father told her the story of his father many times about what happened to his dad many times. And as a result, Christine was conditioned to feel this way. To me, Christine had legitimate reasons to feel this way. Kody likes to act like he did. Yeah, maybe he should have been concerned because he's the man in this situation, but Kody never experienced what Christine's family experienced. So I also feel that this situation with the Browns and their departure from Utah was never as bad as they made it seem, okay? Really put this into context here. All the traveling back and forth that they were doing, right? From Utah to Vegas to different trips, knowing that they had a case out. You don't think that they could have very easily put someone on them to watch them as soon as they cross state lines to grab them? Like, these are the types of things that I'm thinking about. All the filming that they were doing. We never saw them approached by any type of law enforcement. They made a whole big to-do about the kids being scared and all these other things because police cars were driving up and down and behind them and all these other things, but they were never approached. Did we ever hear about any type of social services representation coming? No. None of those things happened. But we have their friends, the Dargers, who were actually questioned multiple times by different officials, by police officers, by investigators, by the hospital, by a social worker. They even found out that their stuff was going before a committee to see if they were going to get basically told that they had a medical neglect case. They actually experienced what it felt like to have officers and detectives coming to their home and questioning them. But that never happened for the Browns. They released a statement via social media saying that they were investigating them for bigamy, and that was basically, in my opinion, the extent to it. Now, you guys can correct me down below if I'm incorrect. That's fine. But I just feel like it wasn't right, okay? The only time they came into contact with an official, which was an officer, was when the vehicle broke down on the road and the officer was like, can you please get the children off of the shoulder because it's dangerous, have them go back further. So do I think that they were at risk of being separated as a family? I got to be honest, no, I don't. Let me know down below if you think that they were at risk of being separated. We just see how panicked the kids were because the adults had them terrified. It was the adults' fault that these kids felt this way. The adults made the decision to go public, and I'm not knocking them for that, but they should have properly prepared their children for what their children may face. If they were truly scared that they were going to be separated, they should have had certain talks with these kids ahead of time, because they made these kids experience far more disturbing than it had to be. Christine said, our kids were afraid that we were going to be put in jail when all we were doing was loving our family. I do believe that all they were doing was loving their family and practicing their faith. Well, some of them. We came back from a commercial break and we're seeing all the things Christine said about how she no longer feels special and how she wants her relationship to be more like it was. She had all this time as the last wife, and now there's another addition. And as a result, things have changed. Christine says she wants her relationship with Cody in previous clips to be back to what it was, and she feels like they're failing. He stopped caring, in my opinion, because Christine was no longer that little shiny penny. He had a younger, in his eyes, more beautiful, because he tells us that he wasn't attracted to Christine physically, more beautiful woman, and he stopped treating her the way that she was accustomed to being treated. As she's watching it, she's saying, that's terrible. But I don't think it's terrible, because I think that's how she really felt. And she had every reason to feel that way. If you're saying that you lost your best friend, it's not just because he's taking these trips, it's because he's not connecting with you the way that he was. She says that she's sorry for saying things were failing. And surprisingly, Cody said that she had a valid reason to feel that way. And I'm like, what? I know, I'm shocked too. Can you believe it? Cody says it took him time, but now he feels like they're back together as a family and that they're in a better place now that they're in the cul-de-sac. And Janelle says, yes, co-parenting, yeah. When did it change? Because Mary and Christine did not feel this way in season 8, even up to the point of when they had the tell-all. So I said to myself, here we go with these people lying again. Just because you're getting assistance parenting doesn't mean that y'all are back to a good place, because you still weren't hanging out as wives. You still had wives that felt like they weren't getting enough time. You even had a wife go on a trip with a therapist. Yeah, y'all are really in a better place. These people lie so much. So Mary says everyone struggles and their family was just trying to make it work. I agree with that. We see how Christine made her peace offering with Robin, when Robin, after, I can't remember if she was pregnant at the time or if she was about to have the baby. I can't remember. But she did the whole, the family has grown by 2 feet thing for Solomon, which was a gift that she had made because she felt like she treated Robin so badly. What? Oh, she should have never said that, because once she said that she treated her badly, that was their story and they were sticking to it. Just, you know. Here's the thing. Y'all, tell me down below, how was Christine treating Robin badly? Because I don't understand it. And at various points, all of the wives say that they treated Robin badly. Even at one point, Mary does, because Mary told us at some point, I can't remember when it was, that her and Robin had some counseling sessions. So I don't understand how me being leery of you equates to me treating you badly, or because I'm cautious of you, I'm treating you badly. I'm trying to figure you out. I'm trying to figure out where I fit in now that you're here and my husband no longer desires me because all he desires is you. I'm trying to figure out where I stand because my husband, who already wasn't barely over here because I only have one boy and Janelle has like 4 and you're the new shiny penny, where do I stand? And Mary, he won't really trying to be bothered with her. Where do I stand? I don't think Christine is wrong in that. Christine says that she treated her badly in her mind for blaming her for being Cody's favorite wife. And she admits currently that she's still working through it, even at this current point, and that she just wants to say sorry for being petty and selfish and thinking the worst of her because she wasn't secure. And I just feel like, don't apologize for that. You had every right to feel that way. Christine's body, her intuition, was preparing her for what was coming her way. Your body knew something was different, just like your mind did, just like your heart did. Like you knew. We see the clip of her and Robin talking at the restaurant with Christine apologizing. Christine says, looking at the clip now, she knows she was trying hard, but she wonders how much she really believed what she was saying because she still felt insecure. And as she's saying this, I said, goodness gracious, every part of Christine was trying to correct her so-called wrongs. A lot of Christine was her suppressing her true feelings because Christine's honesty was too real for them. They couldn't handle it. Robin says that they had a lot of conversations with Nancy, and now as a result, they've worked through a lot of it and they're in a better place than before. And Robin feels like Sister Wives Closet really helped them. And she's like, Christine was a rock star during it all, and she just had so many great ideas. Okay, you're sitting here saying Christine had so many great ideas, but we saw where Christine wanted to do t-shirts and it was shot down. And then Janelle wanted to do some aprons, which to me isn't different from the t-shirts. And that was like, yeah, let's go with it. Those were her great ideas. As long as Christine supported Robin in every little way that little birdie wanted her to be supported, then that means that Christine was doing good. But when Christine wasn't into it and when Christine wanted to do the real estate, Robin didn't feel that way, remember? She kept trying to figure out ways to get the different wives to want to be a part of her dream because it was and is Robin's dream. We have a talk about Mykelti and her lack of modesty. She was upset about the mood, so she lashed out through her clothing. Mykelti said it was just a phase, and she doesn't feel like it was nearly as bad as the parents made it seem. I'm actually going to have to side with Mykelti on this because it does seem that her parents overdo a lot of things. And I'm not, maybe I'm, you know what, let me be quiet. Because here I am like, I don't feel like it's bad that she was showing a little bit of skin here and there. And I'm the person who will show all my cleavage. Let me stay in my lane. I was just talking like, girl, shut up. Because you be out here sometimes and them things be out. Sorry, y'all, for the days that I show too much skin on camera, but I am who I am. And one thing that I'm always going to do is be real with you all. Okay, so they say the kids' mindset changed once moving into the homes. And Christine says she really feels like they got, ready and they felt better about being there once they had that area and the homes were being built. And we saw Cody running around the perimeter, that him running the perimeter of the property just for her definitely changed her mindset. And as they're doing this, I'm thinking these people went from bankruptcy and all types of debt, living from check to check, eating old bread, to now purchasing 4 homes. It's amazing what this show was able to do for them. They show that awful panel discussion where Robin was mean to Colleen and where Christine was rude to her aunt, telling her, let me give you an example because they showed a clip And in the clip, you see Christine, who previously was in the hallway, panicked about having to go to the bathroom and walk past her aunt, who was just, standing there waiting to go in the bathroom, and how her sister wives had to help her walk out the bathroom so she could feel safe and secure. You see Christine now, because Christine has all the balls in the world now, y'all. I like Christine, but I gotta call it like I see it. I do. Ooh. I do. I have to call it like I see it. You were sitting there crying at one point after your sister wives came and got you because you were so terrified of your aunt. And you went in the room and you nestled into Cody and you were crying and he's telling you it's going to be okay. To you sitting on the panel with the remote saying, I remember a lot about you, Aunt. And I remember your husband. And sweetheart, he wasn't a nice man. Sweetheart, he wasn't a nice man. You got Robin over there shaking her head like this, like she knows whether or not the man was nice. You just got into this family. You definitely don't know Christine's side. And here you are trying to shake your head like you know whether or not he was a nice man. Christine has a bite. That little sweetheart thing, I like Christine, but that little sweetheart thing doesn't make what you just said less snarky. Don't do that. Don't use words like that in a manner that makes it seem like you're not being disrespectful when you are. Because your aunt's husband, her ex-husband, wasn't a nice man. Guess what? She left. And now look at it. At certain points, Cody wasn't a nice man to Christine, and she left. So you see how what goes around comes around in different ways? Not to say that let me calm down, because I don't want to make it seem like Christine deserved what she got from Cody. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is don't belittle your aunt because your aunt doesn't agree with your way of life. And because your aunt is over there telling her story, and as a result, you say things like sweetheart and all that other stuff, and you're being snarky and condescending while doing it, when you know that your aunt, who you yourself said was with a mean man, left for a reason. Because looking back at everything now and reading some of their story, it doesn't seem like Cody was that great to Christine. He was nice to her at one point, but at some point he stopped. And it might have been because he got what he wanted from her. Christine says that the debate was hard and that was really no point in it. I got something out of the debate though, because the debate allowed me to see that the Browns don't listen. They do not listen to understand, they listen to respond. They hear one thing and then they go. They don't take the time to see what the other people are saying. So they were so defensive that they weren't taking all the time to hear their other side. Just said that. Janelle says, Christine, you knew this woman your whole life. You knew her to be a certain person, and now you see her as a completely different person, and maybe that's why you're so disappointed. And Christine says, she's completely against my lifestyle, and I took it personally. I never liked this side of Christine. If I can remember correctly, and you guys can correct me down in the comments if I'm wrong, but her aunt wasn't coming at her in an aggressive or belittling manner. She was telling her the truth, what she experienced and how she felt. After it was all over, we even saw her aunt come up to her, tell her that she loves her, and ask her if she wanted to go out to eat. After Christine and the family were talking the way that they were to her, because it wasn't just Christine that was talking that way to her. Christine and Robin were a-holes on that thing. Mary and Janelle, not so much, but Christine and Robin, complete a-holes. Because you then had Robin saying, to that same aunt, don't make me a victim, sweetie. Just because she asked her, it was something along the lines of, so you said you would leave, whatever. And she's like, don't make me a victim, sweetie. Can you let her finish her question? Can you listen to what she's saying? They kept interrupting the panelists, the Browns, and being disrespectful to them. But of course, the Browns are going to make excuses for their behavior. Robin admits in one of the problems that they had with this exercise is that they struggled to find common ground because they weren't looking for it. And I agree. That's the only thing that I agree with what they had to say about that segment. We are reminded of Truly being in the hospital and how the family was throwing a going away party, and Truly was rushed to the hospital, and how Cody, in my opinion, was not by his wife's side, because as soon as you found out that she was being rushed to the hospital, you should have been there just as much as Christine was. I still do not understand how Cody manages to be there for every little thing when it comes to Robin's children, from getting ear piercings to having whatever 5-minute surgery what it wasn't surgery, he had to get put under 5-minute procedure that Solomon had at the surgery center, to Dayton's eye and things of that nature, to Robin's appointments and all of that. But when it comes to some of these other kids, you're not there. Your daughter was in the hospital for almost 2 weeks, and he was coming home every night. Meanwhile, you had Christine, who was devastated and who was there as much as she could. Only time she came home was to take a shower. Her daughter them sat with them, and then she went back. Robin says at one point when she was visiting Truly in the hospital, she just saw all the tubes and was like, maybe Truly decided she was done too. Maybe Truly, I saw, oh my gosh. If I'm ever going through something like that, or someone in my family, when my mother was in the hospital for her heart attack, she's okay. When she was in the hospital back in September for that, the last thing on my mind was that maybe my mom is giving up. My mom got winded walking like 5 steps. It was the scariest, oh Lord. It was a very, very scary situation. Here I go. Because I'm my mother's only child. And everything fell on me. And we had discussions and things of that nature that I never thought, like I knew certain things, but I didn't think, okay, this policy's here and that policy's there. And when it comes to her home, okay, I left this to you and I left this to my grandson. I didn't think about all of those things. So you have a child who is laying here looking like the life is being taken from her. And you got Robin saying that she looks like she's given up. No, she's trying to fight. She has dialysis, which means there's a tube that is in her stomach that is trying to filter. Like, what? You sound crazy. I just don't, she gets on my nerves. Robin gets on my nerves. Robin gets on my nerves. So Cody says it's brutal. Oh, poor Cody. It's so brutal. It's so brutal, but yet you're sleeping soundly at night. It's so brutal that looking at you, it looks like you're going through nothing. Meanwhile, Christine looks absolutely devastated. Aspen looks devastated. Aspen even said, if I remember correctly in the episode, that everybody is sitting around here and they're laughing and stuff like that. Like they don't realize how severe this is. That came from a teenager who had been to the hospital. Cody had been to the hospital too. Why didn't he understand the severity of the situation? Christine says most of the family did not understand how serious it was, but Aspen did because Aspen had been there. And I just feel like, once again, I don't feel like Cody supported her enough. Currently, you see Christine crying about it. And Cody tells her it's all better now. And it just shows how little he was there. And I'm not saying because he wasn't crying, but because this was traumatic for Christine. It was traumatic for Christine. It was traumatic for Truly. Let her cry. Because watching the playback and seeing that little innocent baby laying there in that hospital, deteriorating before our eyes, tubes connected to her pale complexion, to the point where when she came back, one of her siblings says she's so skinny. This was in a matter of weeks. In less than 2 weeks. That was the damage that was done to her body. And you don't see why your wife is sitting there and she's crying? Because Christine was there. Anyways, I'm not going over the cringy convo about Mykelti with her boyfriend and Cody talking about the hormones and the kissing. I just want to add that Cody said that he got a lot of heat from that, but he read like over 20 articles that said hormones are in the mouth and they do give you a desire to procreate. I mean, this is the foolishness that this man comes up with. We talk about the argument with Cody and Ken. The text he sent about divorcing 3 of his wives that offended Christine. Christine wanted an apology and Cody was unwilling to do it. She lets us know, however, that she's over it now because they went to counseling about it and they basically came to a position of you can agree to disagree. I wouldn't be over that. I got to be honest. The way that Cody treated her, there was other things that were said that should have been addressed with Nancy. And I hope that they did for her to get over it. We find out that Ken called Christine and says, so apparently you're mad at me. I watched it on the show. So Cody, still with all of that, never contacted his friend and said anything to him about the situation. So he still refused to stand up for his wife. She said that in talking to Ken, he basically told her that she had every right to be upset with him. He apologized for it, told her that, he didn't mean anything by it. And if it were said to him that he would be upset too, so he gets it. She says they're in a good place and now she would be more than willing to go boating with him. We get a clip of Cody saying that he feels like most of the family is happy in Vegas. And Christine says she now feels that there's hope and that things are on the upswing. And that is the end of the episode. This went longer than I did. I guess I was running my mouth a lot. Sorry, not sorry. But that's the episode. Y'all tell me down below what you think. If you have not done so already, please like the video. Commenting helps and subscribing helps even more. I appreciate each and every one of you for your time. You don't have to be here, especially listening to these old reviews, but I appreciate the fact that you are. Until next time.